Welcome back, y'all. And we're back for another show for a Wrestlemania preview. And look who we have here. Jaquan is here. Benny finally let
That
him out.
being said,
Sorry.
I didn't kill him. I said I killed him, but I lied. So he's here.
Listen, life's been pretty busy today of all days. That's all I'm gonna say. Life's been a little hectic today. Uh, I'm just getting home. I may leave again. This is like my time to chill for a little bit before I figure out what the heck I'm gonna do.
All right, so let's make this quick. We have the WrestleMania card, which now
We ain't
has
gonna
a.
make this quick. The WrestleMania card is like 16 matches. This ain't gonna be
Yes,
quick, bro.
yes, it is. Yes, it is. So here I have. Let's go with the pre-show. The Women's Battle Royal. Here's the list of the 13 entrants for the Women's Battle Royal. Dana Brooke, Mickey James, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan, Asuka, Carmella, Naomi, Lana, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, and Selena Vega and Nikki Cross. Those are your entrants for the Battle Royal. May they have more? We don't know. That's what we know of right now that are there. They may have a few surprises, maybe seven. But from what I'm looking at there, I have a feeling Asuka's gonna get the nod. I think
Mm,
Asuka's gonna. Jaquan, what's in the
mm.
background, man? Is that you or is that Benny? Whose background is that?
No, no, it's Jaquan.
Oh, with the trophy in the back?
No
No, no,
noise.
he's talking about the sound.
Oh, yeah, my mom's watching the movie. That's why.
Oh, okay.
um, I'm
I got.
gonna go out on the limb
Uh huh.
and say Nikki Cross.
The free agent.
Gonna- Yes, I'm gonna say Nikki Cross
Okay.
because if she's a free agent, then that means she can move just as frequently as the champion will now be able to move. And I feel like if you're gonna build a story behind this winner meaning something, even though traditionally it hasn't, if you're gonna do that, you want someone who's unattached right now. Because like think about it, Nikki's always doing these promos of Nikki's gonna come for you, Nikki's gonna do this, Nikki's gonna do that. Imagine any one of the three stars, Nikki just randomly comes out and attacks them backstage or just comes out from under the ring and just starts attacking people. Like Nikki can be like Undertaker meets Kane meets Hornswoggle. Like to me, it's just you can have a lot of fun with Nikki's character in this situation.
What do you think, Benny?
Um, my head, well, no, my heart says Oscar just because, come
Oh,
on, give her something. My
I'm
head,
so sick of this woman.
my head says Lacey Evans
True, I forgot about
because
Lacey.
she is going
Lacey,
to do
Lacey.
in the middle of this match, in the middle of this battle royal. She's going to do her little thing, and instead of just stopping and turning around and going back, she's coming to the.
Also, too,
Ah, if
there's the rumor that she's gonna be the one to get pushed, and they're gonna build the women's division around, especially if Ronda leaves around Becky, Charlotte, and her.
Yeah, we need
So
another point.
this would definitely be a way to catapult her into that status.
I don't
Like
know
give her
the
something to build from.
way they have it, I see it where she comes in, she does a little strut, she stops, everybody turns around, they turn back around and start wrestling. She actually goes in, hits a couple people, a couple women, and then tosses her right back out faster than she came in. Have a good night, Lacey Evans.
I could see
I
her getting knocked out, but I could see her getting knocked out under the rope, sitting by the ring, waiting till the herd thins out, and then hitting a couple of big pop moves and winning.
well, we'll see what happens. It's going to be
Yeah.
interesting. It's on the pre-show, and now moving on to the men's, or sorry, Andre the Giant Battle Royal. All right, that one's going to have 29 participants. So we go Braun Strowman, Michael Che, Colin Jost, Apollo Cruz, Titus O'Neil, Tyler Breeze, Jinder Mahal, No Way Jose, Bobby Roode, Chad Gable, Kalisto, Grand Metalik, Lince Dorado, Bo Dallas, Curtis Axel, Heath Slater, Rhino, Victor, Connor, Andrade, Ali, No longer Mustafa Ali, just Ali. Shelton Benjamin, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, Otis, Tucker, and EC3. Most of this is comprised of the Raw guys. Uh, I don't know who's going to win this one because honestly, it doesn't matter who wins. Whoever wins is just in the back of the card waiting to rock. So if it goes like that, no way, Jose. I'll go with no way, Jose. Vamos Dominicano. You know, it's like what do you want me to do, man? Like who won it? Baron Corbin won it. He sat in the back for a while. Mojo Rawley won it. They haven't done crap with him. Talking in the mirror now. He's not even in this one right now. He's not even in this one. It makes no sense. You have the man back there and talking to the mirror, and he's not even in this one. And you're looking for bodies, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't get it. What do you think, Benny?
Surprise entrant, Rob Gronkowski. Just because it doesn't really means absolutely nothing. Rob Gronkowski wins it.
What about you, Jay?
Because we have 29, there can only be one other guy, and I think that random person will either be Rob Gronkowski or Conor McGregor. And that's who's going to win. Whoever that number 30 is, that random 30 is going to win.
The rando.
Because I feel like Braun Strowman's going to get so distracted by trying to get the guys from SNL that they're going to do the whole top rope pull and he's going to flip out. They're going to give him a dusty elimination.
And that's the worst thing you can do. You just pretty much just crapping on Braun having two comedians come in there and eliminate him in the worst way possible.
No, I don't think they'll eliminate him. I don't think they'll eliminate him, but they'll be the reason why he's eliminated. Like it'll be one of those like he throws them on top of each other and he does the whole and somebody just comes and flips him over kind of thing. Like the way Undertaker got eliminated. The way Undertaker got eliminated by like Maven.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So like it keeps him strong, but then he kind of flips and like, oh, you guys cost me this, and then just runs roughshod over everyone, throws a temper tantrum, and then goes away.
And to end the pre-show, we got the 205 Live title match between Buddy Murphy and Tony Nese. What do you think, Jay?
Buddy retains.
Benny?
I said, if not now, then when?
SummerSlam.
Tony Nese, but like, I honestly, I don't know, man.
Here's why I say SummerSlam. Here's why I say SummerSlam, because I feel like by that point they would have broken up Ricochet and Black, and Ricochet can go over to 205 Live and take the title out of SummerSlam.
How long has he had it for?
Who? Buddy Murphy?
Like 7 months?
Now. He won it back Super Showdown.
The Australia show, right?
Yeah.
So that's he's coming in on a year. He's got 200 some days, maybe.
I think.
I mean, in my case, my bad. But in my case, when it comes to this right here, it's like it's the same thing as the Shayna Baszler thing. If he beats Tony Nese, who else is there right now? And then you're gonna have him hold on to the belt for what, 5 more months until SummerSlam rolls around, or 4 more months? Like who's gonna be challenging for it at that point? That's what I said. You gotta take it off soon.
Because I feel like they're gonna break like WrestleMania. I feel like WrestleMania is gonna be once Ricochet and Black lose for the SmackDown titles, because I don't think they're gonna win. Is when they break up, go their separate ways, and Ricochet goes to 205. It's such a Vince move that it's like, I love Ricochet so much that I want Ricochet on SmackDown too. I want Ricochet as a U.S. champion, but I feel like because 205 really lacks star power since Enzo left, and how good Ricochet was as the North American champion, and how much slag and just how much he brought to that title in his short reign, I feel like they see like, okay, he can carry the cruiserweight division until we can build it a little bit more. And I feel like as good as Buddy has been, and Buddy's been a great cruiserweight champion, it's just I don't understand what he's saying. His accent is so heavy, I don't understand what he's saying. And I feel like to be a champion in WWE, you have to be good on the mic. And Ricochet is as good as they're gonna get right now, even though he's a little country. They're as good as he's gonna get right now. Until, you know, if you want to move Johnny over there, until you can get Johnny, until you can get one of these really uber athletic, like who would they just sign? What's his name? Kushida. Until you can get him to a place where, okay, he's done in NXT, send him to 205, because I looked at dude, he's going to 205. Like, he's going to 205. Let's keep it a buck. He's going to 205. Like, stop it. Dude is like 5'2", like 130 pounds. He's going to 205.
So this is what you missed in the NXT TakeOver show. I had mentioned to Benny the best move that the WWE can do is send Ricochet, Johnny, Tommaso. What else did I say, Benny? I said I say one more name. Forgot who it was.
Adam Cole.
Adam. Yeah.
It was Adam Cole.
Adam Cole. Yeah. Adam Cole. Exactly. Send those guys to 205 as a stopgap for the main roster, because this way you get known commodities into 205 and you get eyes because they need it. 205 puts on a good show. The wrestling matches are good. The storylines, it's not there. It's I gotta figure it out. But the matches, this is why I think this is going to be the last match in the show, because 205 always, the guys on 205 always put on good to great matches. It's a good way to get the crowd hyped for the start of the show. In regards to this match, I think Buddy will retain in order to lose it on the next pay-per-view, because I think he's going to get moved up to the main card sooner or later. Because you can't have a guy, you can't have a guy that's like 230 being a champion at 205 or even in 205. You can't tell. You really can't tell me that guy's 205. There's no way he's 205.
He literally no. I remember there was actually there was a whole storyline about that, because people were like, he's not 205. He had to get suspended from a match because he weighed in at 206. And I feel like if you're gonna move Buddy Murphy up to the main roster, you have to move him up at the same time as the Forgotten Sons, because you have to have that Buddy Murphy. What was the other guy?
Blake.
Blake and Murphy. You got to have that storyline, because that's a natural storyline, and you can even throw in Alexa Bliss. Like you have to use. I'm asking a lot because of the fact that I know Vince is still kind of losing control. And I'm like, if Triple H is going to seize control, he has to do it now. And he has to bring a lot of those NXT storylines to the main roster. You have to do, like, now is the time, because Vince is, it's like blood in the water. Vince is trying to establish his guys, but his guys, because NXT has literally probably had their best show yet, all the hype and all the fandom is going to be behind Triple H. So it's like, if you're gonna strike a blow, you got to do it within the next couple of months. And it's like, why not be the guy to be like, listen, I can build nothing into something, and just bring in a bunch of these guys that Vince sees as nothing, bring their NXT storylines in, and boom, people care.
Right.
You know, because even like shows like podcasts like this, we're NXT savvy, so the word of the NXT storylines are going to spread if these guys are highlighted. And then you have situations like Fox, like the SmackDown live show on Fox, and the recap show that's going to have all three shows. So now the average fan is going to have so much access to the history and the storylines that now you can't ignore that. You can no longer ignore those storylines.
I think that show is only going to be for SmackDown. And if that's the case...
No. They Triple H announced it's going to be for all three shows. When he announced the show, he said it's all three.
Interesting. If that's the case, then they have to have continuity storylines between all three, especially because you have this show. You can't go with one storyline where the two guys are best friends in NXT, and then just bitter rivals in the main card. Okay,
No,
how does that work?
but
Like,
you
what
can do it.
happened
But
out of nowhere?
again, it's a situation where you can develop that rivalry by saying, okay, these guys were this in NXT, but now that they're here, let's see who's the best out of the two. Like it could be the reverse of what happened with the Bar. Like you can play with it a little bit, but this is why I don't think the Fox format is going to work for WWE, because you need a lot more theater than you do wrestling.
Right.
So if they were to bring back Talking Smack, that's a different animal, because Talking Smack was literally the best idea they had that they never let manifest. Talking Smack was amazing. Mm-hmm. And it pushed forward. Like Baron Corbin to me became legitimate on Talking Smack. Nothing he did in the ring for me was legitimized until those Talking Smack segments.
It brought back Daniel Bryan. Because of that too as well.
Yeah. So like, there's no reason to me that Vince could sit up here and say, "Oh, this wasn't working." And it's like, I knew more people that watched Talking Smack than actually watched the shows. Like, who knew the Usos could really cut a promo until they went on Talking Smack weekly and eviscerated the entire SmackDown division? Yeah. You know?
It's because you let the guys just go free. When you have them reading off a script,
they're just going in there saying, "Cut a promo."
Yeah, like it used to be. Before, back in the day, back in the 80s, when I was watching it, some parts of the 90s, it used to be, here's a mic, this is a subject, have at it. And you had to be savvy enough to cut a promo with what they told you. And if you didn't, hope you had saved your money, find a new job or something. Well, that's what happened with, what's his name, Bischoff. When he interviewed for a job with WWE, he was like, here's a broom. Tell us about the broom. He didn't do a good job, they didn't give him the job. You know? But now it's like,
to a point though, some of that stuff is ridiculous though, because they were sitting up there like in the midst of what was it, like a promo thing. They told this one dude like, yeah, you're the point of your promo is like the mustaches. Like, what the hell does that have to do with anything?
The whole point is trying to see your creative mind. Where can you go? You know, what can you accentuate the mustaches? You know, it's like, look at my mustache. It's thin, it's light, it's soft. You're gonna like it. You're gonna love it.
I mean, if you really wanna look at like, okay, how can mustache, like it's so dumb, but then look at Mustache Mountain.
Right.
Like they became a legitimate tag team off of cutting promos of how their mustaches were. But people believed them as a tag team. Like people believed it. And they even went as far as to win the tag titles. Even though and that's coming off Trent Seven losing to Pete Dunne. And we're like, we don't know what to do with Trent Seven now, because realistically, he probably shouldn't have won the title. Like Trent Seven is a forgettable United Kingdom champion. Like everyone who looks at the United Kingdom title is going to relate it to Pete Dunne. Because Pete Dunne seems like he's the first champion.
You're talking, no, not Trent Seven. You're talking about the other guy. I forgot his name. Yeah, Tyler Bates.
Tyler Bates. My bad.
It's all right. See, you forgot about him too. We forgot about him.
But that's my point. Like that's my point. It's like, bro, and I feel like that was a really bad move. Like wrestling wise, Tyler Bates was the better technical wrestler and was the more entertaining wrestler. But he couldn't cut him to say. Pete Dunne didn't have to say much of anything. Like Pete Dunne just started talking about 100 days ago, 500 days into his reign. He just started talking. He just started the champion and cleaning up his image a little bit. Like, but Pete Dunne, when he got into the ring, you knew who Pete Dunne was. Like, especially when you look at those War Game matches and the matches he had against Ricochet when it was the United Kingdom champion versus North American champion. Like you felt Pete Dunne. Like, okay, Pete Dunne is legit. Like, it didn't matter to me that Pete Dunne was 5'11", $175. Like Pete Dunne was up here like,
I break your fingers.
Basically, but you know, even in his match against Walter, like imagine Pete Dunne in a match against Drew McIntyre. Like that looks like that looks like it could be a main event. Like that could be a mid-card main event. Pete Dunne, bring back the hardcore title just for Pete Dunne. where I feel like Pete Dunne can make the hardcore title just as important as the Intercontinental title because of his sheer brutality.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Where it's like you don't look at Tyler Bates like that, you know, like.
Yeah.
But see, that's what I just feel like there are just certain guys that you can kind of build that around, and that's why I'm looking at, like, you know, I can't sit up here and say like I could even see Pete Dunne winning the men's battle royal and having him be number 30, because it's like, what else are you gonna do with Pete Dunne? Pete Dunne comes in, Pete Dunne comes in, messes with Braun Strowman's arms and stuff a little bit. You immediately put over Pete Dunne. Yeah. Pete Dunne can come in as a heel. And like, I believe him. As a casual fan, obviously you won't believe it. But then if you see Pete Dunne just beat up on people, it's like, okay, yeah, he could put some work in on Braun Strowman. And if you see him break Braun Strowman's finger, okay, that's believable to me. Because nothing he does is, oh, I'm a little guy throwing people around. He's like, no, he's very catch wrestling, isolate the joints, and that whole thing. Like, it was like Kurt Angle when he first came in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, you see that until... Like him, like Pete Dunne and Shayna Baszler, to me, Kurt Angles of their time, because they're making you believe in a different style of wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, he had a good show in the Royal Rumble. He did show off a little bit, but going back to the card, let's look at the tag team matches now individually. They were, let's just say, both put together this past week. No storyline. Well, sorry. Apparently, there was a storyline for the Revival and Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder, but you have to go online to find out how that came about.
Cough, cough, internet title at this point, please.
Yeah. So what I'm looking at is, I want to see the Revival win this. If they don't, then if they give it to Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins, it's only till Monday Night Raw that they retain that belt. And they will lose it on Monday Night Raw. I'd rather
poetically, yes.
Yeah, I'd rather have the Revival keep it. But if they don't, I see a new champion being put together on Monday night.
Yeah. I could see, if you're gonna do that, I could see Aleister Black and Ricochet winning Monday night.
That's a bad idea.
I could. It's a terrible idea, but I could see it.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible.
What do you think, Benny?
Only because there's no legitimate tag teams.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the New York Pop, being that it's going, like, you're gonna have Hawkins fight or win, and then just like you said, chances are they're gonna be losing it with it. They're not gonna have it longer than the next pay-per-view. Chances are tomorrow night. Oh, not tomorrow, Monday night. They'll go out there, they'll defend the titles, and the Revival will win it back or something like that. If they don't, you count on the Revival leaving.
Benny, can you slide a little bit to the camera? You look like Two-Face right now. Let's see how your
I was chilling, man. I got the chair leaned back a little bit.
I see that. So, all right. So we got that one. Now let's go to the other one. That other one that was. Well, this one makes no sense at all. So it's the Usos.
Whatsoever.
Four-way. That's four-way. Fatal four-way. The Usos, Ricochet and Black, The Bar, and Nakamura and Rusev. I don't. Whoever stops laughing is the first one to go.
Oh no, man. Like I said, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to this match right here, you can count out the opening, and you can pretty much count out, Rusev and Nakamura, because Vince is, that thing. they don't pay attention to certain people. So at that point, it's going to come down to Aleister Black and Ricochet or the Usos. And as far as I'm concerned, the Usos are, if not the best, one of the best tag teams in the world, and it's over. They're going to take that one. I don't think, especially considering the fact that the Usos just signed another contract.
I think this is very much just a way for the Usos to get on the card, because that was a part of their demands.
They deserve it.
Because they've worked for it. They earned it, and the New Day is getting the main event storyline, so they don't have any other tag teams to really legitimately face. but this is just a showcase of the Usos and Aleister Black and Ricochet, because this match is supposed to legitimize Aleister Black and Ricochet as tag teams, but not quite ready for the titles because the Usos are such a dominant tag team.
Yeah,
Or I could see them losing it and going to Raw.
The Bar,
because Vince needs, like I could see them losing to the Bar because Vince needs a way to revitalize the tag division, and the only team that has been able to prove and to literally make something out of absolutely nothing. Because remember, the SmackDown tag team titles were nothing before New Day and the Usos made it something. Like the Bar had them, and it was like, these guys are like, the tag team division is a joke. And then that one pre-show match was like, okay, give tag teams a chance. And then they poured the house down every time those two had a match. And just Raw's sheer lack of tag teams in itself leads me to believe that if the Usos win, they won't take a pin, which is why I think Black and Ricochet very well could win the SmackDown tag titles. I don't think it's a good idea, but I think it's the best way to transition the Usos to Raw to have that self-fulfilling prophecy of Zack Ryder and Curtis Hawkins winning and then losing the next night. Because I could see them being like, we'll challenge anybody, and then the Usos get the pop because they move over to Raw. Because Vince needs the power.
Well,
I could see it because Vince at this point, what are the Usos going to do on SmackDown now? Like, they're doing nothing.
I don't see Ricochet and Aleister Black winning. The reason being because whatever happened to Ricochet last night, he got cleared. He's cleared the match. He's cleared the fight. So they haven't released anything to say if it was a concussion, a headbang, a twist of the ankle. There's nothing out there I found yet to say what the issue was that he had. Now, the Bar, Nakamura and Rusev, we just lost Benny. He probably got a phone call. Nakamura and Rusev are not going to win because, well, they're both in the doghouse. They're both in the doghouse for Vince. They're just there just to fill it out. The Bar, I can see probably winning it, and then probably have New Day fighting the Bar to get the belts when the Usos go to Raw.
Yeah, like again, that also makes a lot of sense to me. So I could definitely see that happen. But I feel like also if you're gonna have Ricochet and Black have the reaction, like I feel like Vince saw the love that the NXT universe has for them. And it's like, okay, we have to capital, like them losing twice in a weekend. It's like, I don't see it happening, especially if you're trying to transition these guys for success and they're not just going to be jobbers.
Welcome back,
and
Benny.
It's like,
hey, my bad.
It's all right.
I got this thing going on outside that they're trying to give me these tickets and everything. So
it's a matter of, do you want to solidify Aleister and Ricochet as a legitimate tag team, or is this just a gimmick to get them on the main roster and then break them up?
Well, here's the reason why I don't think they're going to win it. You got to remember, the shuffle is coming up soon, so they're going to get broken up.
Yeah.
I doubt they're staying. Benny, you missed it. I say either the Usos retain or the Bar wins it, because Nakamura and Rusev, they're in the doghouse. I have no idea Ricochet's health is at right now. He could probably do this match, but not completely. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on, see how much he's going to be in the match, what he's going to do. I see either the Usos retaining or the Bar wins it. And the Usos go to Raw, the Bar then fuse with New Day.
You know what I can see, and this is probably the dumbest thing in the world, say the Usos were to retain, and the thing goes down where, like I said, Hawkins and Ryder win, and then the Revival win the titles back, and the two of them get drafted to the other show. And the two of them are just looking at each other, and they're just like, okay, you give me that one.
Yeah, they switch. And they switch titles. Like I could definitely see that happening. I could definitely see in that as like a backstage, like they have like this face off, and it's like, see you at SummerSlam, and then they switch titles, and then they both walk away, and it's like, it would be terrible, but then it wouldn't be the worst thing either.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
But I
Next
just don't feel
match.
like the revival. I just don't feel like the revival is going to be around that much longer. That's another thing too. I just don't think they're going to be around much longer.
Man, it's gonna be interesting. The next tag team match is the women's tag team match. The Boston Hug Connection, another fatal four way. Beth Phoenix and Natalia, the Iconics, and Nia Jackson, Tamina. Uh, what are your thoughts, Benny?
I
First off, Beth Phoenix and Natalia are not winning this match. I don't see Beth Phoenix coming back full time, so I see absolutely no reason for them to give her the title. She's going to be a House of Fire in this match. I'll give her that. She's probably going to have. I'm not going to say the most spots, but she's probably going to have the biggest spots out of everybody. But I don't think she's going to be. They're not winning this match. Nia Jax and Tamina, they're not winning this match. I don't care. Like they're not winning. So you're bringing it down to the Iconics and Sasha and Bailey. Sasha and Bailey have been pretty much beaten down the last couple of weeks. So I honestly see them getting their heat back by actually winning and taking this. I don't think they're dropping these titles that quick. We got to have some type of establishment of these titles. We can't just start hopping around.
What do you think, Jay?
I agree. I think that Boston Hug need to win it, and then Sasha kind of has to shake the stigma of she only holds titles through the first defense. She has to, because if you're gonna have her be anything, that whole consummate underdog is not Sasha Banks. It's not. It's really not. And I think if you're gonna eventually bring up, and you're in a situation where the four horsewomen are really at their peaks respectively, you have to keep the title on them at least until SummerSlam, where you can bring up and you can still build the other female tag teams. And then I feel like because they have such a connection to NXT, and that's the one place where they haven't defended the titles yet, you kind of still have to keep the titles on them just for brand recognition over everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think we're all in agreement. Boston Hug keeps it. I think the best way to do this to keep the other women strong, Beth or Natalia takes the pinfall.
I could
Because
see
because
I
this is
could see
the reason why
yeah,
is
go
it
ahead.
if Nia Jax or Tamina takes the pinfall, you pull back the momentum a lot of being a strong team. If the Iconics take the pinfall, then it's pretty much exclamation period that they're the freaking joke of a team. And I don't want to see that because they're a pretty good team. They're good in the mic, and they're not bad from the NXT shows that you seen them on. They were not bad. They're just not given a chance. They're not given a chance to do what they can do. So I would, if the Boston Hug Connections are going to retain, Beth Phoenix and Natalia should be taking the pinfall. Those are my thoughts on that.
I think too it'll be very reminiscent of the Fatal 4-Way NXT Women's Title match, where Beth Phoenix will have these big spots. Beth Phoenix and Nia will have these big spots. And just when you think like Beth Phoenix is gonna win, like she'll have like the moment where she has like Nia hooked in and delivers the glam slam or whatever that thing is called. I have no idea what the heck her finisher is called.
That's what's called.
Then then you have a situation where like Sasha rolls up Beth Phoenix or rolls up Natalia. Like somebody gets rolled up in like a stacked situation where it's like a 1, 2, 3, and they slide out really quick. And I think it'll be Sasha, because I think it'll be Sasha getting kind of like a dirty pin and Bailey kind of looking at her like, oh yeah, we won. But what was that about? Kind of thing. And you start to see the cracks in the armor. That's how I would do it. Where like they're going to retain and they're going to continue to be a team, but then Bailey starts to see shades of the old Sasha, leading into, guess what? SummerSlam. When we finally get the match we've all been asking for. When it's the real rematch of Sasha versus Bailey, when Bailey's the face and Sasha's the heel. And I think that, again, that had the momentum of Tommaso and Johnny Gargano, but essentially it got just decimated because Vince is being Vince.
Yeah. Because not to go on too much of a tangent, but once they had their little blow up when Bailey attacked Sasha outside of the ring and everything like that, and then Kurt Angle decided like, yeah, well, you two need to go to counseling.
That was
Why
stupid.
Why are you sending the two of them to counseling when you have Braun Strowman throwing Kevin Owens in a porta potty off like a balcony and stuff like that? Like, come
exactly.
on.
A lot of it it never made sense to me.
No.
Yeah.
But what we got next? Because this guy's gonna call me back in a minute.
Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre.
Roman.
My heart says Drew. My head says Roman.
Yep. I'm going with Drew. I think it's going to be a strong finish. If Roman wins this one, if he does, then Drew needs to put on a strong showing.
Yeah.
It cannot be a weak match.
I can see Roman. I can see Roman taking or I can see Drew having 90% of the offense in this match. Roman catching like a surprise, like he's like Drew's running to do a Claymore, and Roman just like spears his face off or something like that, and that'd be like the end of the match right there. You just catch him off guard.
Oh, the thing that bothers me is I feel like if Roman wins, then it's kind of setting up the whole Roman Braun Vince's wet dream rematch, and that's what I'm afraid of.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not Braun, Brock
Lesnar.
Yeah,
I think
that's what I'm.
Roman.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. I feel like Roman has to, because Roman finally has like the fan support. He kind of has to lose now. Like I gotta be believable. You gotta convince me that just because he's back doesn't mean he's gonna get some kind of special treatment. And like if Drew's gonna be your bad guy, Drew has to be your bad guy. Like if Drew's gonna be the next guy, the heir to the throne that you're gonna build the company around, then he has to be the one to face Seth at SummerSlam or at Money in the Bank.
There's a way to do that with having him still, lose or whatever. Like if Roman takes the win and it isn't like a definitive Drew's knocked out for the 3 count type win, it's like he got rolled up, and then Drew after the match like Claymore's Roman out the stadium or something. Like then like all right, fine. You're keeping Drew strong. He didn't take a legitimate L, and then on top of that, he beat the hell out of Roman afterwards.
I feel like if they're gonna do that, then they might as well do the Keith Lee Donovan Dovovich finish where it's a double count out. Like I feel like you should just do a double count out at that rate if you're trying to protect both guys that much, where one guy really can't take the win. You need to have them literally beat the holy, like not even like the bell rings and it just becomes a complete street fight where like it is not. There's no tie-ups. There's no we're gonna size each other up. There's no wrestling. There's no chain wrestling. There's none of that. I'm talking about straight up throwing hands, dudes getting thrown into the turnbuckle almost getting like, I'm talking straight up brawler, like Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns brawl, like dudes is straight up getting punched in the face to a point where it's like, yo, did he just lose his tooth?
Yeah.
Like you need that kind of sheer brutality. And then, yeah, basically like, but it's more Walter fighting himself than Pete Dunne basically getting overwhelmed by Walter. That was my really only problem with the match is that like Pete Dunne really, you knew Pete Dunne was going to lose. Like he had those flurries, but you knew Pete Dunne was going to lose. I need it where like, yo, like, are these guys really going to get up? Like, I need that kind of like, are these dudes like, are they okay? Like somebody might have just died in that moment where it's like, you now see that, okay, Roman can still go the distance. Roman's completely healed from leukemia. And Drew's like, nah, I don't care if you got a tumor. I don't care if your mom died. I don't care if your wife died. I'm gonna beat the crap out of you. Like, that's the kind of match I need to see. Where like, you may have to like have both these dudes, like I need it for like, they get both put out and then like, there's Drew through like the Titantron in the back kind of situation where it's like, oh, okay, nobody really won that one. This really ain't over kind of thing.
Yeah.
where like both guys are going to come in like bruised and bandaged up the next night, like, oh, you want to fight again kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of the finish. That's the only way I see them saving both guys.
Well, it looks good. Let's go to AJ Styles, Randy Orton. What do you think, Jay?
I'm gonna preface this by saying I really don't care, because it neither helps or hurts either man at this point. But I'm gonna go with Randy only because AJ's gonna need some time off to be a dad, and we need a way for AJ to get hurt to a point where it's like, okay, no, you need to take some time off, and Randy's a perfect person to do that.
I can see that. What I would like is for I want them to actually turn this into something, being like Randy turns into the indie killer. So like how he was going after like your Mick Foley's and all of that stuff beforehand as a legend killer. I want him to turn into the indie killer, and like he is the perfect person to do it because Randy Orton's never been on the indies. He's a WWE guy, and you could take that and you could have him, turn it into going after Kevin Owens or something like that afterwards, or something like that, just because of the fact that Kevin Owens came from the indies. Sami Zayn, same thing. Like I said, you can do something with this from Randy Orton actually winning, whereas AJ winning kind of curbs that. So I wouldn't necessarily do that. That's why I'm saying Randy Orton.
Yeah, I'm going with Randy also, and I'm sticking to what I said in last week's show, where AJ's gonna go for the phenomenal elbow, and Randy catches him with the RKO right off the top. Good night. Match is over.
My one problem with that is they just did it on SmackDown.
They just did the spot,
and they did it on SmackDown. See? So they got to come with something better than that one.
Nah, AJ's got to come with a 450. AJ's got to come out with a 450.
He's going to go for the 450, or he's going to do like a shooting star press or something, and Randy Orton's going to RKO him out of that.
I don't know why they did that on the SmackDown show. There was no point. That would have been something.
I didn't even watch the show. Honestly, I still haven't watched the show, and people are like, "It's not necessary. Like, you just watch the recap and you're fine." I'm like, "Oh, okay." It was one of those shows. Like, I just watched Wrestle Talk, and I was like, oh, "Okay, I got the gist of what happened."
Yeah.
I really like that indie killer idea, because then for the first time ever, you can bring Randy Orton to NXT, and Randy Orton and Triple H's relationship definitely would add an element of, oh, Randy's just doesn't care anymore. Like, Randy's really saying screw you to Triple H too. And I really like Randy attacking Johnny Gargano. I like Randy attacking Adam Cole. I like Randy attacking, everyone. And then like he goes after Velveteen Dream and he's like, you're one of us, and walks past him and just attacks somebody else. And it's like, it kind of puts Dream in like this light of he's WWE made, And it's like, you can even go after like a guy like Matt Riddle, where Matt Riddle was never on the indies, but he's also an MMA guy. And Randy would be salty because he's like, you know what? I'm going after the indie guys, but you're like Brock Lesnar, RKO kind of thing. We're like, he's like, bro, I didn't even go on the indies, but you're like Brock, RKO. And then just like walks away, kind of like it gives Randy like a comedic element, but it's almost like, okay, this is Randy that we know. And that, to me, that's the best way to send him out. If you're going to do the whole indie killer, because a good 60 or 70% of the roster is made up of indie guys. Like, imagine Tommaso coming back for like a reunion with Johnny, and Tommaso still having the neck brace, and Randy Orton hitting him with an RKO and a punt. Imagine the heat behind that. Like, Randy would get some serious crazy in that. And you find out at the end, like, it's Vince pulling the strings at the end, saying like, screw you to Triple H. That would be awesome. Like, it would be such a great story if they were to go that route. Yeah. And it's like, you can bring Randy in and out, and it could, like, you'll never know. Like, it'll be very much like bring back that RKO out of nowhere. Like, you never know where Randy's even going to go. Where, like, you can even have Randy, like, RKO the announce team, because those guys are indie guys. Like, you can have him literally go after anyone who's from the indies, which is basically everyone.
Yep.
Like, I want to see him RKO a chick again. Like, him RKO Nia Jax was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to see him RKO Candice LeRae after RKOing freaking Johnny Gargano. Like, I want to see that so bad.
It would not happen in this day and age, but yeah.
No, but it would be, that would be gold. Like,
the heat on that would
Yeah.
be
you make,
ridiculous.
like, the heat on that would be, like, Randy Orton would then turn into, like, the biggest heel, and then you can bring him back to, like, fight whatever champion is an indie guy. Then that, to me, is like, you give Randy, like, that last run as champion.
Yeah. Continue with
And
the
you
card.
can even use that, like, in his Hall of Fame speech. He's the indie slayer. Like, oh,
The
there's
indie
just
killer,
so much
the
you can do
legend
with
killer.
that. Yeah.
back to the card. Let's get this one over with. Shane McMahon and The Miz. Not everyone jumping. Not everyone jumping at the time.
The Miz kind of has to win this at this point. The Miz kind of has to win.
I'm so torn on this one. I'm so torn on this one because I said last week that Shane's heel turn is fresh. So if you wanted to mean something and actually go somewhere, he has to win. But at the same time, I don't want this to continue. I want this mess to be over and done with. And the Miz has done such a good job as a face so far that it's just like if you beat him, how much does it hurt? So I'm like, all right. At this point, last week I said Shane McMahon. I'm changing my pick. I'm changing it to the Miz now.
I will go with Shane McMahon. I will stay with Shane McMahon winning and beating The Miz because even though The Miz is doing a good job as a face, he can't win it. He has to lose it. Maybe go for a little longer. Maybe the next pay-per-view it completely ends in the next one. But like you said, both of these are fresh turns. Shane being a heel and Miz being a full-fledged face. In order to keep it fresh for both of them, Shane has to win in my eyes.
I would go with Miz because I honestly think he's gonna head over to Raw after this because he's been on SmackDown for a minute. So at this point, unless you're talking about having him go challenge for the WWE Championship afterwards, which no, I would send them right back to Raw and then put the two of them up.
Yeah.
I actually disagree with that, only in the sense of I think if Miz wins, it's a way to write Shane off because we need to write Shane off. Sorry, not sorry. Shane needs to be written off. Period. Like he needs to go away. And if you have him as a face and you have Kofi as a face, then and only then Miz could sit up here and say, oh, I'm the guy that needs to challenge for X, Y, and Z, and blah, 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 blah. And then you have a guy like Samoa Joe be like, nah.
Mm-hmm.
And have Samoa Joe, him and Samoa Joe feud. That's never happened. You have, let me see, what other heels are on? Like, you can even have him get jumped by Shinsuke and Rusev. That could be a thing. You could have guys saying, like, I'm sick and tired of being looked over. You have a lot of guys who are heels that need rubs. And Miz is a veteran enough guy where he can really rub some guys and put them on the right track. And I think that's how they kind of have to use Miz in his face as being a face to get some of these heel guys over. Like, you can use Miz to get a Mojo Rawley over. Because until you have a heel champion, Miz can't challenge to be the champion. And you can't put Miz as US champ. You can't put Miz as US champion because he's done it before.
Yeah, tying back to the Randy Orton thing though, Miz is also a WWE only guy.
Mm-hmm.
So what you could actually do in order to say, unless you're going to have an indie guy in the feud, you can have a WWE guy like The Miz go up against a guy like Randy Orton and say, hey, listen, we're not all like this.
Yeah. Again, it adds a different it adds a fresh feud and a different perspective, because then it allows Randy to be like, who are you to tell me this? Weren't you the guy 6 months ago coming at Dolph Ziggler, who's also a WWE guy? Weren't you the guy that's coming at, like, throw all of Miz's transgressions in his face, even to a point where if Daniel Bryan loses it, then you can really Daniel Bryan go up against the Miz, and we can finally have a real conclusion to that feud, but have the roles reversed, where Daniel Bryan is a heel, but is Daniel Bryan really a heel?
No, he's just obnoxious.
He's just annoying. But then what was Miz all this time? He wasn't really a heel. He was just really arrogant and annoying. So it's almost like they flip roles. And I feel like that could really do a lot. Because if Daniel Bryan is like, oh, I want my rematch, and it's like, Miz is like, no, we don't do rematch clauses anymore. And you can have Daniel Bryan just tell Miz to shut up, and then Miz is like, oh no, remember who you're talking to, blah, 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 blah. And then Daniel Bryan can be like, well, you never beat me, kind of thing. And that could be a feud that goes right into it, because then it leaves Kofi open for an actual fresh feud.
Yeah.
Against whom? I really can't tell you, because there's no one else built to me as a heel to face Kofi outside of Samoa Joe. But then Samoa Joe, is he really built? Is he not built? We don't really know. He's just
got the shakeup coming, so you don't know who's
and then you have the shakeup coming. And I feel like if they would have done a better job treating Andrade would have been the perfect guy to step in, because Selena is so good on the mic. And just imagine a sparring session between Xavier Woods and Selena Vega. Oh my God. The amount of jokes. I would be sitting up here pissing my pants between those two.
I have to record it to go back to hear everything.
Because, I mean, if the Usos... Because I feel like Selena's from New York, bruh. Selena will pull back and be like, didn't the Usos just cut on you for banging Paige on the internet like 3 years ago? Like, she has so much to pull from to hit the heel here. And she can come at Big E like, wait a minute. Weren't you my B when I did the movie for playing AJ Lee? I was playing AJ Lee, but you're still somebody's little B. Like, you can she has so much to pull from that, like, she would be the perfect person. And then you have Andrade, whose style fits against Kofi so well. Like, Andrade is very much a striker, very much a luchador, and Kofi's kickboxing and capoeira background, they could put on instant 5-star classics. But they just didn't build Andrade, which again could be Andrade could definitely win the Battle Royal and then be like, you know what, I'm going to skip the line and I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Because, like, he's fought Rey Mysterio enough times. Like, can we stop, please?
Yeah.
Like, we get it. They're both Mexican. Woo. They had great matches. Like, come on, guys. Like,
Orale.
Like, orale, vato. We get it. Okay. You love Eddie. We get it. Like, stop, please. We get it, bro. Like, you're down. Like, you embrace cultural diversity. Like, Vince, okay, cool, bro. Give us an actual Black versus Hispanic person for the WWE title. Prove that you about the culture, bro. Like, let's keep the white guy out of the title picture for a little bit. You know? And then even like you have Charlotte as his boo thing. Like, you could have him turn on Zelina and have Charlotte be his valet. Like, you can do so much with this. Like, if you really want to be about it and you really want to cause some drama, like, let's put Selena Vega in the women's title picture and, like, let's give Selena some real love.
Actually, I got something on Charlotte I'm gonna talk about later on tonight.
All right, yeah, we gonna get to that, you know.
But going back, Kurt Angle and Baron Corbin.
Why do I care?
So the way I see this, we spoke about it in the last show. It's probably gonna be a quick squash match. Baron Angle's gonna win. He's gonna have it 2-3 minutes, and then John Cena's gonna come out and be like, no. You brought me in. I take you out. You know, lottie.
Agreed.
And John Cena wins, says goodbye to him, says I love you or whatever, and peace out. Yeah. So, yeah. Now let's talk about the last non-title match on the card.
I got a little caveat for that Kurt Angle one.
Oh Jesus!
Because we all know that Triple H is going to have the most outlandish entrance. The second most outlandish entrance is going to be Kurt Angle, who is going to parachute into the stadium from the
Oh my
jets that
God!
fly over, and in the midst
Oh
of
my
that, he
God!
is going to have fireworks that are red, white, and blue in his hands.
With his gold medal
Are
on
you
his neck.
trying to make? Are you trying to make him Owen Hart? Like we know he's gonna die if he does that. The man
This
can
is
barely
going to
walk.
be the most American entrance you have ever seen in your entire life. He's going to have an AK-47 in one hand and a cheeseburger in the other one.
Oh. Well, let's talk about the man who probably had the biggest entrance of the show, Triple H and Batista.
Okay, if Triple H can just bring back the Game of Thrones entrance, please. That's all I want. I want the skull mask with the chain mace and the crown. That's all I want. I don't care what else he does. That's just the one I want.
It's supposed to be premiering like what, next week?
8
That's what I'm
days.
saying. Like, can we get the?
He might have something of it like up his sleeve. You never know.
He
I mean,
he
might.
needs to. He needs to go. He needs to come on full armor. Holy Land, like conquistador.
Unless
Completely.
something New York, which I doubt. I doubt it.
He's from Connecticut, bro. He's not about that life.
I know.
He's not about that life. He's not about that life.
I know. But I mean, I'm just throwing something out there. I don't know. But the way I see this one going, I see Batista winning this just to kind of get Triple H out. Falls count anywhere.
I'm just kind of curious I think Batista definitely does win because Triple H always said he just needs a way to get himself out. And if you seen him yesterday after the NXT thing, and you see the pictures of him, he's tired, bro. Like he wasn't even supposed to be cleared for this. Vince literally said, like, I need you for WrestleMania. And it's like, no, you really didn't. This match is so unnecessary. But it's a good get Triple H his swan song, and for Batista to push his whole like actor superhero gimmick, where like more fans will have their eyes on the pay-per-view, and then more fans will go see his movies.
He's got a new movie coming out too.
Yeah, that Spy movie looks dope, but it's very much
Tooth Fairy.
What's it called? It's Tooth Fairy. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was thinking Tooth Fairy or the Rundown.
No, the one with Vin Diesel. He was the Navy guy with a baby.
Yeah. The pacifier.
Yeah, it's like a combination of those two.
I think it's more good, it does. It looks hilarious. I think it's more The Rock when he was a quarterback with the daughter.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of the movie, but like that was back when The Rock had a square head and hair. So, and he was actually still built like a quarterback and not like, a defensive end that's just really short.
What are your thoughts, Benny?
Like I said, this is another one I'm kind of torn on for two reasons. One, we know this is Batista's last match. They've already said that this is Batista's the end of his. This is it for him. So he's not sticking around. The other thing is Saudi Arabia. How much influence does Saudi Arabia have over what's going to be going on in the actual in-continuity storyline? Because Shawn Michaels came back after being retired. If they can influence stuff like that, then then all right, fine. Triple H can go through his retirement angle, and then he can come back before a Saudi Arabia show because it's quote unquote out of continuity. If not, and these things are actually in continuity, then Triple H has to win this match because they're not going to be turning down Saudi money for Triple H to go out there and actually perform. Thing is, how many people Triple H going to be facing at that point? You got maybe two, Seth Rollins and Randy Orton, and that's it. Unless you're going to put him out there against Johnny Gargano, and then what? not gonna happen. So like I said, I'm torn on this one. I'm gonna say Triple H just for the hell of it, but I really don't know.
I don't think the Saudi shows are in continuity, and I've never seen them. The only storyline I saw was the Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar thing. Everything else was not a storyline at all.
Well,
So I don't
best of the
consider
world.
them a part of the card. Well, yeah, there's the whole best of the world thing, but that was kind of just Vince trying to get Shane over.
Yeah.
It's like,
All right.
I'm gonna have my son because he's my kid.
Let's start with the title matches now. So let's start with the first one that we know is going to go off. Bobby Lashley, Finn Balor, or Demon Finn Balor. Obviously,
Demon.
What?
Yeah.
Demon's obviously gonna win. I am not happy with how they promoted this, but Demon's gonna win this match.
Yeah. I figure we get this one by quickly because they want to keep the Demon undefeated. They want to stay that way. They want him to be like an enigma, where if he comes out, he wins. This is the best way to keep him undefeated. It's maybe the new Undertaker one.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll keep it at that. Now, continuing on, we got Samoa Joe and Rey Mysterio.
Wait. I actually do have a caveat for that. I think that the way they're going to do it is Leo Rush is actually going to jump into the match and try and somehow get the Demon to lose. And in doing that is how the Demon's going to win. And then Bobby Lashley is going to dump Leo Rush, and Leo Rush is going to go solo.
Nah, I think that's a bad idea.
I don't think it's a good idea. I just think that's what's going to happen.
If they do, it looks bad for the Demon. I mean, the whole point of the Demon is to make him look strong.
Mm.
Yeah.
No, but what I mean is it's not going to be a situation where the Demon looks strong. It's going to be a situation where the Demon is really putting the work in on Bobby Lashley, and Leo Rush jumps in to try and save Lashley.
Mm.
But in saving Lashley, he costs Lashley the match.
Now, I think what's going to happen on that card with Leo, I think what happens is going to try to get involved, and the Demon takes him out, and this is a one-on-one.
Could be.
Yeah, because the thing is, they want to keep the Demon strong, so that's the best way possible. If you have Leo interfere and cause a match, it's one of those. Well, he won, but is he really so strong? So
yeah, you already have he won but with Finn Balor already, because when he won the Intercontinental title before, he beat Leo Rush. What I would want to happen is I want the Demon to just go out there, wreck shop, have a great match. It doesn't have to be a squash match, but just have yourself a great match. Like back in the when they were building towards that SummerSlam last year, when they had Lashley going up against Roman Reigns on Raw, and the two of them just like went at it, just like beating the hell out of each other. That's the type of match I want to have between Bobby Lashley and Finn Balor, because at this point, Lashley is boring. I don't want Lashley matches to be boring, because I actually like Lashley. But like I said, in order to beat him, because I want him to actually go out there and have a great match against Balor. I want the two of them to. I want Balor to win this match.
Right. Going to the next one, Samoa Joe, Rey Mysterio. I found out Rey Mysterio was cleared. He's gonna wrestle, and I think Samoa's gonna retain, because I just don't see them putting the belt on strap on Rey Mysterio at all.
I'm going with Samoa Joe, and I'm still going with the caveat he's going to choke out Dominic.
I'm also going, even though I kind of want to see Ray win because I want to see him drop it to Andrade. But that's just me, because I don't see them having Joe lose to someone smaller.
At least not yet. Not yet. You gotta make him You gotta make him dominant at least for a little while. Give the U.S. title something.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, he won it in a crazy way. He beat R-Truth.
Yeah.
So yeah. Going on to the next one. Let's go to Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins. What's that, Benny?
Man, we're already at the main event. Wow.
Oh, in already? Jeez.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going hard over head on every single one of these last matches. I'm going with Seth Rollins.
Seth?
I'm
Amen. Seth.
What do you think?
It's Seth.
See, I'm torn. I'm
Because
torn
we know
like Benny
Vince.
right now.
Because
Like
we know
Benny right now.
Vince.
Because of the
Because we know
fact.
Vince.
Well, here's the reason why. Here's the reason why. All right. And this is and then Vince plays a big part of this. Do you keep the belt on Brock, right? And just dump Seth Rollins, or do you have Seth Rollins win it? Then you have Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose come out with him to celebrate, and it officially being the last time you see the Shield together in the ring.
I wouldn't do it in the ring. I do it at the top of the. I do it at the top of the ramp.
Well, yeah, okay. So we top of the ramp, okay. But then that's the last moment you have with the Shield all together.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we got to remember who we're talking about. We're talking about Vince McMahon, who can be petty sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
especially because of Dean.
Yeah, Dean just flat out says, "I'm not resigning." So my mind says Brock, but my heart says Seth because of that last hurrah, the last scene of the Shield at the top of the ramp.
Mm-hmm.
And that will be a nice little break before the main event or before the Kofi Daniel Bryan match, which we'll go to now. I think on this one, Daniel Bryan, Kofi Kingston, I think Kofi wins this.
Kofi has to win.
Yeah.
If not, Vince is going to be universally considered a racist. I'm sorry. Yo, did y'all see the rally that Wale had with literally every black wrestler in the industry was at that rally? When I tell you Booker T, everybody was there, and when Kofi came out, the whole place the roof blew off the place. And dudes is really like, you know what, that one of us, a real one, like we get The Rock. The Rock technically does count, but The Rock is also benefited because of that Samoan blood in his family. Like Kofi is self-made. Yeah. Kofi is from Ghana, raised in Boston. Would consider a true, for him to even be fighting in the match is big, but for Vince to look the best, I think, because for fans that watch Kofi forever, it's like you got to pay off his sacrifice somehow. But just if you're gonna push the whole women's revolution, you still have to push, if not just women, but people of color as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can't just say, oh, I'm gonna push one minority group and not the other. Like you're gonna lose if you don't do Kofi, because then you're gonna really look like, okay, you're favoring the scrawny white guy because he had a concussion. Like, then at that point, I don't believe anything about Daniel Bryan until the day he retires. Like, Daniel Bryan's never gonna get over for me if he wins this match. He's never gonna get over as a face ever again.
Yeah.
I'm saying Kofi. 2 reasons. One, because I think they correct the wrong that happened back at WrestleMania 19 with Triple H and Booker T. Because that was a tragedy in and of itself as to how that was handled. Especially the end where Triple H decided he wanted to take 3.5 weeks to actually make the cover after the pedigree. That was trash in my mind, and it will never be changed on that. The other thing is, once again, Saudi Arabia.
Oh, about that.
This up themselves.
That got moved.
Bryan is not going to Saudi Arabia. He refused. And you cannot have a show like that without the championship. So, at the very least, until Saudi Arabia passes, whether that be greatest Royal Rumble, greatest Fast Lane, greatest Elimination Chamber, whatever it is that they want to call it, whatever Saudi show is next or whatever, I believe that Kofi is going to have that belt until through that. And then he's probably going to lose it after, just because of the fact that, all right, we got past this caveat. Now, we give Daniel Bryan back his.
Speaking of Saudi Arabia, that actually got pushed back. It's no longer in May. It's now in June.
In June, yeah. I heard about that.
Yeah. They got pushed to June. But still, I mean, here's the thing we have to look at. His wife retired. This is a good way to give him a break, little break to spend with the family. Lose the belt, drop the belt, take a month away.
Yeah.
He come back as the same guy, heel and all. I think he'll be fine. But Kofi, if Kofi does not win this match, it's a travesty. Another Booker T, but worse. Because you built it. This guy got momentum on his own, just for the match that he put on. I mean,
not only that, you actually had him acknowledge it. You had him and the rest of the New Day acknowledge how the bill actually was, because back in the in the Booker T Triple H thing, Triple H, although it was racist as hell, he wasn't coming at T. He wasn't coming at the entire African American race. He said people like you. Yeah, we get that, right? That could be taken two ways. One, black people. Two, people with criminal records, because Booker T, his criminal record. With the New Day, it's different because Booker T himself never acknowledged what Triple H was talking about. The New Day themselves were the ones that brought this up. So it's not like Vince was just like people like you. He was just like, you, Kofi, are a B+ player. He didn't say like, no, we don't like darkies. So like, it's different. More so, it's like, and I'm trying to figure out exactly how to put this. It's different because in this day and age, like what it is right now, you're looking at a more direct racist angle, whereas back then it was racist against Booker T. Whereas this one is racist against everybody that's a person of color.
Right. True, and also Booker T was a WCW guy.
Yeah, that
Kofi is 100% WWE bred and made. Like Kofi came from FCW, came up the ranks, has won every title in WWE, and has never left. He may have taken breaks, but he never left.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're going to screw your own guy for an indie guy? Come on. That is so not Vince McMahon.
Yeah. Also, side caveat,
so
he sets the hip belt on fire and gets high with it.
Wait, what's that? What happened?
Please do.
Oh, you got a phone call.
He said Kofi sets the hem belt on fire and gets high with it, and I would even add that he comes out with the OG SOS theme song. And comes back to as Rasta Kofi.
Oh man, we'll give Benny some time to come back. That phone call. I'm sure you got a phone call right now. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting because again, a lot of the way I picked that Kofi winning is because of Daniel Bryan not wanting to go to Saudi Arabia, and I'm sticking with it as an underneath storyline on top of the hey, let's crown the first black man. Because if you look at it, WWE does a lot of things shady if you're not paying attention to why they do certain things. The women's Evolution pay-per-view was because the women couldn't go to Saudi Arabia, and he was not going to pay them. He did that last time. He paid the women to not go to Saudi Arabia, and he was like, "Oh hell no! If I'm going to pay you, you're going to work for me. But let's make this look right on ourselves. We're giving you your first pay-per-view because you know what? They're not having a pay-per-view this year.
They're not.
They're not having one. Why?
Because they're trying to push for the women to perform in Saudi Arabia.
Exactly.
And now they're more open because there was an outcry from Saudi Arabia saying like we want to see the women, and then the Sasha and Alexa Bliss match went over so well. So now they have the ammunition to say, hey, let us bring our women. The only issue I could ever see with it is like someone like Naomi wouldn't perform because she's too curvy and her ring gear exposes too much. And it would make that whole situation more awkward, unfortunately. I don't agree with it, but I feel like that's very much going to placate to it.
I can
And then
agree.
Where the women. What I can say is the women that are going to go over there are going to be the women who can get away with their ring gear not being overly exposed. Like a Sasha Banks can wear long, doesn't hurt her character. Bailey can wear long sleeve and it doesn't hurt her character. You can't really, like, even Alexa can't have Alana in a jumpsuit. Doesn't make sense. You can't have a Mandy Rose in a jumpsuit. Doesn't make sense. You can't have Sonya Deville in a jumpsuit. Can't have Sonya Deville over there, period. Doesn't make sense. Because the way that their laws are against women and women of LGBT, there's no way. Right. Well, and she's an openly gay. No way. No way.
There's going to be a lot of women that won't be able to go. But I can see Naomi. I could agree not because of the ring gear exposing, because when Sasha and what's her name, Alexa fought, Sasha's gear is also revealing, but she covered up completely. So the gear, I don't see as being an issue. The curviness, maybe, but it depends on what the Saudi government says. Is okay, is not okay.
I don't trust them.
I know. But the thing is, what Vince and them have to do is just be careful. You know what? Naomi can stay home. You stay home. Sonya, stay home. Naomi, stay home. You, because of course, LGBTQ, you can't go. It's going to cause issues. She stays home. Naomi, look, we'll cover you up, but you got curves, girl. Nothing wrong with it, but...
Yeah, there's nothing they can do about it.
No, nothing they can do about it.
So it's like, then if you're going to do that, then like, okay, if you're going to make it so that these women go, to me, then it's like, you got to look at somebody like Charlotte who had breast implants. How are they going to feel about this? You have somebody like Becky. Becky, you can do. Benny, we still can't see you. We can hear you, but we can't see you. We just hear you in the back. It's kind of creepy.
Hold on for a second.
Yeah.
You're not the Wiz. This is not going to be the Wiz. You can't just be out here being the voice of reason. It's not how this works. But you can't, like, there's that you're gonna have to build, like, especially like Benny said, if there's gonna be a continuity, you have to build. And I don't know how much they're gonna want to build the women, especially because now the women are really some of the more interesting storylines in the WWE. Is Saudi Arabia gonna really be for women dominating their show?
I doubt it. 100%
because you can't hide the women, like, but that's the thing, you can't hide the women and act like, oh, they're going to be like the opening act or something for Saudi Arabia and legitimately have fans believe that this is something that we're doing to forward the story. Like, you might as well just call it what it is, the glorified house show.
Yeah, but here's the question though: is how many matches are we going to have in Saudi Arabia?
Listen,
yeah, if it's
Benny, bro.
Well, here's the thing. That's why I was asking. If it's one, it'll be a second match on the card. It'll be a second match on the card.
Yeah.
It's not going to open the show. It'll be the second match on the card. If they have two, one will be the second one, and the next one will be somewhere in the middle, kind of like your Pittsburgh match.
Yeah. Benny, I still can't see you, and you're creeping me out.
How can you not see me?
Literally, I see a picture of you. Yeah, there's a little emoji like blinking, but your camera is not on.
That is kind of weird because I just turned the light on and everything.
You gotta turn the camera on, bro. You can't turn the light on when there's no camera working. This ain't how this is gonna work. We were on radio, that'd be different. But this ain't.
Y'all see me now?
Nah.
No.
I just see Bazinga.
I can see myself.
Listen, bro. Is there a line through the camera emoji?
Nah.
Oh, somebody lying to you then, bro.
Oh, he left. He's gonna come back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anywho,
I just think that's a interesting scenario
it's
there.
an interesting cat. Yeah, there you go.
There he goes.
Yeah, I had to go out and go back in for some
Yeah,
reason.
no worries. All right, let's go. Final match of the night. What they now called and said on Monday, which we were hoping for, the unification of the women's belt in the triple threat match
Uh,
between Ronda,
uh,
Becky, and Charlotte.
uh. Mm. I only can react like this because I've heard so many conflicting stories that literally I have no idea who's going to win this match. I know who I want Becky to win, but then a part of me still wants Charlotte to win only because then there's the whole dynamic of does she pin Ronda or does she pin Becky? Because if she pins Ronda, Becky technically never lost. And then you get the Becky one-on-one match. But then we don't want to see Becky and Charlotte one-on-one again. We want to see Becky and Ronda, which is why I want Becky to win. Because then Ronda can come back at any point and be like, hey, you never beat me one-on-one.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think Charlotte, even Charlotte taking the pin doesn't hurt her.
Nah.
Doesn't hurt her at all.
Nah, especially if there's some junk like not even just taking the pin, in general. Like Ronda hits her with Piper's Pit and then gets like tossed out the ring or something like that. And then Becky runs up and then hits her with the disarmer.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm saying Becky's gonna win it, but here's what I hope happens, because it would fix a lot of issues, and it would actually set up the four horsewomen really nice. Becky wins it, and then you got Boston Hug Connection come out to celebrate with her because now she's the first unified champion in the women's division. They celebrate with her. Ronda leaves. She hightails it out of them, whatever. Leaving Charlotte in the ring, and the three other women look at her, and Charlotte just kind of looks at them, looks down, looks back up, and they're kind of open arms with her, calling her, kind of like Becky, just like let's end the feud now, just get together. And then after a while, after some hesitation, Charlotte goes, and there you go. You get the same finish from NXT a few years ago. You get the four horsewomen in the ring, have the Boston Hug with the tag team titles, and you got Becky with the unified champion title, holding both titles up. But she gives Charlotte the SmackDown just so they each hold a belt in the ring.
I can't see Becky giving up the belt right now, even if it's like this so we can pose.
Yeah, but I mean, it would be poetic though. It would be poetic.
It would be.
It would be.
It would be. I would see that for Charlotte if Charlotte was a face. Her being a heel, I don't see that happening. Honestly, without the way I want this thing to end, I want Becky in there being like the sole last shot of the action. I want Becky to be the main focus of it. Like you can do the whole four horsewomen thing, but I don't want to turn the entire point of having the women as the main event into a gimmick picture. Like I would say, go ahead, give Becky her moment or whatever. Have her be like, all right, listen, you're the face of women's division for at least for right now, and then we just go from there. My little caveat with that one, just because of how Becky and how her character has changed, she needs to win this match with the Stone Cold Thunder. And then, even right in the people's elbow. Charlotte and Ronda with a double people's elbow in the boat.
Oh, she would be savage enough to do it too.
She definitely would. She 100% would. I like Paul's idea, but the only way I would change it would be they embrace, and Charlotte's like, okay, you got me. Like, you got me this time. and she throws up the 4, and they throw up the 4, and as soon as they're about to turn around and throw up the 4, Shayna's music hits, and Shayna's just at the top of the ramp, like, okay, and Shayna like gives her like a little clap, like, just know I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm there.
Yeah.
Like, I'm there.
Yeah.
And like you see Ronda like kind of like is all pissed off, like she's walking up the map, like I can't believe she's walking up the ramp, and she's like at the top of the ramp, and right when she's about to like leave, you see Shayna's music hits, and then Ronda kind of turns around and has like a smirk on her face, and then you see her turn around, and Shayna comes up with the NXT title, and you see the other two, and they all just stand arm to arm, and the last image is Shayna and all of them at the top of the ramp, and the 4 horsewomen in the ring, and then that's how it goes off.
Or Ronda's walking away while all this is happening. She gets to the top, and that's when Shayna comes out.
Yeah.
Or wait, no, but yeah, the other two come out, right? They get to Ronda, and then at the end, Shayna comes out. Because to me, Shayna is the key to this group, not Ronda. As much as Vince may want to put it on Ronda, to me, it's Shayna. I love Shayna. We've all spoke how much we love her.
Well, I will say that there have been, like, I've seen interviews. There's multiple interviews of Shayna saying, we're never going to be the one to pop off. But if they want it and they really want to keep talking, I'm right here. Come get me. Shayna has said it. It's like, I'm here, bro. Like, whenever y'all ready to go, I'm here. I think Shayna coming out at the end, just holding her. I don't want her to say anything. I don't want them to bicker. I don't want none of that. I just want Shayna to come out, stand at the top of the ramp with the leather jacket on, everything, just fold her arms and look at Ronda, and I'm like, all right. Where, like, you don't know if they're actually going to run up to the ring or not. Like, you don't know what they're going to do, and then it just goes off.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the image I want.
Yeah.
Because as much as this is about the women, and this is about the women's championship and the women being the Hall of Fame, let's not sleep like the best part of wrestling isn't two of the biggest, baddest factions going at each other. Like, this is DX, Nation of Domination. Like, this is Heart Foundation versus early DX. Like, this is what wrestling's all about. So if we're gonna make it about the women, let's put the women on the same level as the men for real, and have two dominant stables. Like, this is fake Undertaker versus real Undertaker. That's essentially what it is. And it's like, there's no more iconic picture to me to say, this is what we are, but this is what's coming. Because even though Ronda's walking away, I could even see it be a situation where Ronda's walking off and the other women like come out at the same time, and they kind of cross and they look at each other. They look at each other, and Ronda keeps walking away. Ronda just walks backstage. Where Ronda's not even in the final image. It's 3-on-4. Because Ronda's so upset that she just lost her title. And we know how Ronda is when she loses. Let's not front. We know how Ronda is when she loses. Her reputation speaks for itself. So it'll be a situation where you need the other two to kind of convince her to follow Shayna. Because Shayna's not going to talk to Ronda and be like, yo, let's go get him. That's not Shayna's style. It's like, listen, bro, you need my help. I need to get on the main roster. Let's do this. Or it could be a situation where Shayna's like, you know what? We've kind of let you rock on your own, but we're family. And family sticks together. And Ronda kind of has that moment where it's like, all right, cool. Like, it has to be something where Ronda's no longer the face of this group. It's very much Shayna. And if that's the case, then you can either have it where Ronda leaves whenever she's going to go start her family, whatever. You can have that whole, like, I'm going to go start a family. And they're going to be like, well, we got this. We don't worry about this.
You could even have her where she leaves with a supposed injury, her arm or something, where she has to be off camera for a while. and she can look at maybe starting her family, and then they can say, well, she had an issue with her arm, so it's take longer. Story-wise, to keep it story-wise, you know, what's that called? Paige Van Zandt had an issue. She broke her arm, and then she came back too early, and she broke it again, or wasn't healing correctly. So it took her a lot longer than supposed to for her to come back from her injury. So they could do that.
Yeah.
They could use that as a storyline for Ronda, where she supposedly breaks her arm in this match in the loss, and they pick her up, they heal her. Like, all right, well, like you said, we got this for now. You go heal up, and then they give a report a few months later saying, well, it's not healing right, so it's gonna take a little longer. You know, kind of, so she can have her family, do her thing with her husband, whatever she wants to do. But again, we're not responsible. We have no authority over her uterus. So
she made that very clear.
Yes, she did. While sitting in her husband's lap.
Listen, yeah, right. Like by showing her husband every chance that she can get, like, her go somewhere. Yeah. I'm sorry. Like literally, this whole feud. Like I wasn't a big Ronda Rousey fan. I just knew that she would bring the type of ticket sales that Vince loves. But I'm a huge Shayna Baszler fan. So any way we can get Shayna over as the leader of this group, please do.
Yeah,
because I'm a huge Shayna fan.
Yeah, I think all three of us are
on par with Becky, and she's the best women in the country. Yeah, like Shayna is, and to me, Shayna, as much as Charlotte is a good heel, and she was an annoying heel. Shayna was never annoying, and I don't like annoying heels. I don't. That's just my thing. The only caveat to that was I'm a big Miz fan now, but I think he's the most annoying human on the face of the planet as his character. But I think just that raw, like, I don't care about you, I will beat you and your children up kind of attitude that Shayna has. Like, she looks like to me like she'll stomp out a newborn. Like, that's what I like.
The thing with Charlotte, she's trying to do her heel character kind of like her father, which I'm okay with because her father had a very good heel character, very arrogant, very what's the word I'm looking for?
But it was her father,
right? And
he was a douche.
And that's what she's trying to come across. But I don't think she's figured out how to do it yet correctly, how to do it right. So that's why I think you find it a little annoying because she hasn't tweaked it out correctly all the way where she has it right. So that's why, like you said, it's annoying.
I just don't think it translates in this era. She just looks like a giant. She looks like a spoiled rich kid. And spoiled rich kids don't get over well in this era. Like Alexa Bliss was fine because she was a small human that was she had a Napoleon complex and she was a bully. Everyone can relate to bullying. Charlotte being the arrogant princess is like she's the equivalent to me to Trump. Like it's just a bunch of annoying rich kids trying to run everything. She's the equivalent to me to Vince. Like Vince was a rich kid who, albeit built WWE out of the sweat of his own brow and really took the company to heights that his father never could. But at the end of the day, he got the company from his dad.
Yeah.
So you're always going to have that asterisk next to your name. Like, you didn't build this. It's your dad's company that you just happened to expand on. Yeah. You know? And maybe that's what she's going for, where she's like, I don't care. I'm chosen. I'm this, I'm that. And I'm like, no one likes a spoiled rich kid. I'm sorry, but no. Not to mention, you're basically coming online dating Alberto Del Rio's small clone. So it's like, you know about the culture, like low key, like it's not like you dating some Aryan looking dude where I can believe. Not to mention we all knew Ric Flair was real racist growing up. So you dating Andrade doesn't, like, I don't buy into you. Like the whole I don't buy into you. Like you just out here trying to be hard when like first time you get punched in the face, you gonna cry. That's what she looks like to me. That's just me though. Like
and with that, we're gonna end it for tonight. We have the Hall of Fame going on right now. That's how late we're recording this. And sad news, Tori Wilson's father, Al Wilson, passed away today, just before the Hall of Fame show. Our condolences go out to her family on the loss. And with that, we'll record the next show with the results and our thoughts of the WrestleMania, and we'll see what we think will go on. And then looking forward to the shakeup sometime after that. gentlemen.
Please, God.
Hey, y'all just got the notification.
Hit the
Y'all
click
just
and
got the
subscribe.
notification.
Mm.
ESPN.
What's that?
You just got the ESPN notification.
No, which? Oh man, I got so many. My phone's been blowing up so much. I don't know what happened.
Virginia beat Auburn.
Oh, jeez.
So Virginia's in the championship on whenever. Oh, it's not Monday. It should be
No, it's Monday.
Monday after that. Is this Monday?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, they're in the
Honestly, let's keep it real. If you're not a college football purist, you don't care.
I don't. Like, honestly, once Duke and
Duke
North
got
Carolina were both gone, I
eliminated,
was like, forget it.
I don't care. I don't care anymore. It's not
Well,
even worth watching anymore.
with that, everybody, don't forget, YouTube channel is up and running now. Hit subscribe, hit the notification button. We got more than just wrestling. We got soccer, we got football coming up, and we're working on the NBA videos soon, hopefully. All right.
Yes.
Have a good one.
Nosebleed podcast. Watch them as well.
Yes. Enjoy the WrestleMania tomorrow. Have a good one.
Peace and love, people. Peace and love.